Hi everyone, it's Laura from Sweet Handmade Cookies. Welcome to Christmas in the Sweet Handmade Cookies kitchen. A few times a year, I offer cookies for pre-order for special holidays and occasions. The rest of the year, my business comes from custom orders, which have a minimum of 24 cookies. However, on Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, you can usually count on me to offer seasonal cookies in smaller numbers, allowing you to get as many cookies as you need, even if you only need one. So as the temperature drops and the calendar starts creeping closer to December, I get busy on my Christmas samples. I love making Christmas samples. Christmas is my favorite holiday of the year, and I love that I can choose what to make. The process to select my designs starts with going through my cookie cutter collection. Then I sprinkle in a little inspiration from the holiday itself, whether it's cute wrapping paper, a Christmas carol's lyrics, or a holiday drink. I try to mix it up, but I'm pretty sure I offer Christmas trees and snowflakes every year. Part of the planning process includes figuring out how to include sets of 2 to 5 cookies in a pretty box, closed with a ribbon, because so many people want to give my cookies as gifts to friends and their kids' teachers. I also aim for a personalized option because I know people like to use the cookies on place settings and on gifts as gift tags. I also like to offer a winter option like snowflakes and mittens because sometimes you want to give a gift that doesn't scream Christmas. Finally, my customers can create their own sets by mixing and matching the different designs. So of course, to get started, I make the dough, I roll it into thin sheets, and I do up the dishes from the dough making process so that I can move on to the next steps of the cookie making process. Here I am going over my list, confirming the sets, the cookie cutters, and the boxes I have on hand. A paper list is something I need to keep things organized. I actually hummed and hawed about that red cookie cutter. It's a snow globe. I knew I wanted to offer a snow globe cookie, and I knew I had a snow globe cutter, but when I pulled it out, I thought it was way too small, and I didn't love the shape. I used the cutter for these samples, but immediately ordered a new one that I will remake into samples later. A big thank you to Emma Sweets for incredibly fast service. And now, while the dough is still chilling in the freezer, I'm going to start on my royal icing. I always make a double batch because there are always cookies on the go in my kitchen, and once it is made, I tend to use it up rather quickly. I use my KitchenAid mixer, but this is a different bowl than the one I use to make cookie dough. Bad things can happen to royal icing if there's even a smidgen of grease left in the bowl, so the easiest way to prevent trouble is to use completely different tools for each job. I add the first kilo of confectioner sugar all at once to the whipped meringue powder and water mixture, and the remaining kilo a little bit at a time to prevent the sugar from getting all over the kitchen. I always take the time to give the bowl a good scraping with a royal icing only spatula, and I give it another good mix to combine the dry ingredients, and you'll see this icing is super thick. I will thin it out to flood the cookies, but you'll see later while super thick icing is a bonus to have on hand. And now the dough is ready to be cut and baked. Now with most sets, I do a maximum of 6 designs and I can cut a number of each design, but today I'm cutting 13 different shapes and a total of 25 cookies. You will see I'm using a variety of cutters from different manufacturers and companies. I'm not too picky about the cutters. Some are more comfortable to use and some are a little more quirky, but they're all giving me great results. That copper snowflake cutter, I think this was a winner's purchase. It's a little warped and I have to press the middle of the cookie carefully to ensure it cuts the dough properly. I saved these smaller cookies for the last corner of dough. I'll gather the scraps to re-roll and move on to the next sheet of dough, repeat that process, and place the cut dough onto my cookie sheets before baking. While I love Christmas and Christmas is my favorite holiday, as a little girl, I didn't actually celebrate Christmas and Santa did not come to my house. I was born in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, and in the Netherlands, Sinterklaas visits the children on December 5th, not Santa Claus on December 25th. Sinterklaas would arrive from Spain on his boat with his helpers and his big white horse sometime in late November. And from that day on, we would put our shoes in front of the fireplace every night and receive delicious treats like marzipan, chocolate letters, spice cookies, and mandarin oranges. Yum! And of course, we'd leave a special treat like a carrot for Sinterklaas's horse. And then on the evening of the 5th of December, there would be a knock at the door and we'd open it to find a sack of presents from Sinterklaas. What a magical time! Of course, when my family moved to Canada, and it wasn't feasible for Sinterklaas to come to Canada, Santa filled in for us. And now I'm baking the cookies. I start the trays on the bottom third of the oven and then move them to the top third and place a new sheet on the bottom third again, and I work my way through all the cookie sheets. I don't actually move the cookies to a cooling rack or anything. I just leave them on the cookie sheets and then I move them to different cookie sheets to decorate. It is time to prep the icing. Depending on my mood, I will make one color at a time as I need it, or all the colors at once. Today it is one color at a time, and that first color is white. I do color my icing white, which makes the icing more bright, and I will thin the icing so that it works nicely to flood the cookies. And then I'm also going to make this very light blue, and I will use that icing on 2 different designs and then make it slightly darker for some other designs. Now let's finally get started on the decorating process. First, I will flood all the cookies, and I will start with the cookies that are white. This square cookie will have a printed design, and I will use my edible ink printer for that part, and I need a white base. And then this cookie will be part of a Milk and Cookies for Santa set. Of course, I'm going to make the snowflakes white, and these cookies will be embellished with sanding sugar, and the larger snowflakes will have a sprinkle of gold as well. Then I will move on to the bottle of white milk, and here is where I use that light blue to mimic the empty glass portion at the top of the bottle. And I will also use that same technique on the snow globes. White at the bottom of the globe because that's where the snow gathers, and light blue to indicate where you see through the globe's glass. It's time to mix up another color. This time it is red. I'm starting by creating tiny candy cane royal icing transfers. These will be used as sprinkles on the whipped cream of the hot chocolate cookies. Wait until you see them. I'll leave these candy canes to dry as I move on to the other red elements of the cookies, starting with the snow globe bases. These are the cookies for the Milk and Cookies set. Light brown icing for the cookie part and dark brown for the chocolate chips. That light blue icing I created for the glass of the bottle and snow globe, well, I darkened it a bit and I'm now using it to flood these mittens. First the cuffs. And now the Christmas tree. I have made this tree again and again over the years. I just don't get tired of this particular shape. I will add the dark green icing in stages to give definitions between the sections. I will start on the bottom section, skip a section, and then pipe the next one. Moving on to the ugly Christmas sweater cookies. These cookies were a challenge for me because obviously I never want to make an ugly cookie, so I chose to lean into tacky more than ugly with stripy sleeves and an over-the-top design you will see a little later on. And now let's embellish those snowflakes with sanding sugar. Sanding sugar adds a sparkly element and a fun crunch to the cookies. I'm using a sprinkle tray while I sprinkle the sugar onto the cookies, and it keeps things tidy. And then I can use the funnel end to siphon the sugar back into the jar. Next, I am flooding the hot chocolate mug. And finishing the mittens. Now the last two sections of the Christmas tree. And then I'm flooding this plaque cookie that's going to have a cute Christmas Carol lyric on it. I'm just finishing up the ugly Christmas sweater cookies, and then all the cookies are flooded and I can move on to the next steps. First, I'm going to put the finishing touches on this Christmas tree. And that includes red and gold lights. And now these mugs need a handle. Now I'm going to start adding letters to the different designs, starting with this one that's going to say, "Have a holly jolly Christmas." I'll alternate the holly jolly letters in red and dark green, and I'll add the other words in black a little later on, mostly because I haven't made the black icing yet, and I'll add some gold stars as well. This hot chocolate mug is definitely one of my favorites of all the cookies I'm making this year, with this fantastic text of "Let It Snow." This is one of the options for personalization as well, so instead of "Let It Snow," your hot chocolate mug can include names. This cookie is part of the Milk and Cookies set and comes with a milk bottle and, air quotes, chocolate chip cookies. I offered a very similar set years ago when I was part of my town's farmers market, and they were a super hot seller. Next, I'm adding the names and Christmas trees to the snow globe cookies. Coming up with names for sample cookies is a challenge, so this time I picked the characters from a beloved television show. Check out the finished set and leave a comment if you can guess the show. Bonus hint comes from the personalized hot chocolate mug, which is also a character name from said show. Remember that my royal icing was super thick? Here's where that comes in very handy. With a piping tip on the end of my piping bag, I can create a whipped cream look, and I'm topping that with Christmas colored sprinkles and the mini candy cane royal icing transfers. Finishing touches on the ugly Christmas sweaters is next up. I've decided on Christmas lights. Have you seen those sweaters where those Christmas lights actually light up? Now I am painting gold onto the bulbs of the Christmas tree. I've also added a gold splatter to the large snowflakes and the mittens, and now I am adding some snowflakes to the mittens as well. And finally, I'm using my edible ink printer to print an adorable Santa and reindeer on this cookie. And this is art I purchased from an artist on Etsy, my favorite place to support other artists. And now I am pretend packaging the cookies, and this is for photos only. The cookies that go to customers will be wrapped and not placed directly on the crinkle paper. And let me tell you, my timing for these cookies couldn't be better, as the snow has started falling and nothing feels more like Christmas than snow. And here are my finished cookies. First, the sets: milk and cookies for Santa, the ugly sweaters, and mittens and snowflakes. Like I said, these are great options for small gifts for teachers, friends, neighbors, and as an accompaniment to a gift card. And now individual cookies: the Holly Jolly cookie. Next is my Christmas tree with the red and gold balls. Here is that adorable Let It Snow hot chocolate mug topped with pretend whipped cream and sprinkles. Here's a wintry snowflake. Here are the customizable snow globes. Look carefully, I sprinkled them with silver to look like the globes were just shaken. Don't forget to try to identify the television show that I used for name inspiration. And then here are the first of 3 printed Santas with reindeer. It took a lot of work to find the right Santas, cute, not creepy. And finally, the customizable hot chocolate mugs. Thank you for following along on my Christmas cookie journey today. If you are looking for cookies, visit my website. The link is in the description of this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. And happy holidays to all of you.